Hey everybody, it's Jeff here, coming at you from the writer's cabin in Highland County, Virginia. Quick update. A couple of you guys, well, quite a few of you chimed in on what you thought our next story should be. And I've sort of decided I'm going to do the Kamala Harris one next because it's a lot more relevant to the 60 Minutes situation. And then I'll do the Hillary Clinton situation after that. But in the meantime, I'm going to do a little something on Trump derangement syndrome, which kind of leads into bullying. And I think like a lot of people on here are being really respectful, but occasionally we get, the trolls who want to bully, and they'll put stuff up on there. It doesn't really bother me. I'm Canadian. I grew up on a hockey rink. We love to chirp. Chirping's great, but I just don't have space for it. I'm getting thousands of comments a week, and stupid stuff from stupid people who have nothing to contribute to the real conversation with intellect or facts are just not welcome. If you want to bring something to the table that relates to facts, I'm happy to listen to it. I'm happy to evaluate it. I'm happy to respond to a lot of it. And I'm happy to discard it if I think it's bullshit. And I'll even correct things if I'm wrong. But some people, a couple of people yesterday were like, certain people on here, including me, have Trump derangement syndrome. And why do some MAGA people go there? I think it's kind of simple. Lack of education and inability to debate the facts. There's a reason Trump put a WW executive in charge of the Department of Education. To keep everyone uneducated. If you can raise the next generation of MAGA to hate and not know how to think on their own, you've won. So you start with idiots like Linda McMahon at the Education Department. That should handle the future thinkers, don't you think? Who is she? She's one of the founders and executives at WWE, an organization that convinced all aged tough guys from middle America to purchase pay-per-view broadcasts where grown men in tights fight. Not for real, but play fight. She and her husband made millions and millions. She's a great salesman, but she's not exactly qualified to be the Secretary of Education. Am I right? Maybe not. We'll see. Next step. Then you thin out the White House press corps by adding news organizations that ask softball questions. And then you call on them mostly. And then you call everyone else fake news when you can't answer a tough question from a real reporter, further discrediting to your already pathetically uneducated base. Then you move to the Defense Department, or as Fox News host of National Guard mid-grade officer Pete Hegseth calls it now, the Department of War. And you create news media rules that force all stories to be cleared by your minions. And because they can't adhere to such stupid, constitutionally regulated regulations, they're forced to turn in their press credentials and give up their offices so that in between her plastic surgeries, you can invite Laura Loomer to the Pentagon press corps to enlighten us all with her expertise on defense policy. That's really happened. Now, Mr. Trump says he knew nothing of Project 2025, the paper written by the conservative think tank Heritage Foundation that's recklessly attacking our democracy. But then he fills his cabinet with their people, right down to his own spokesperson, Caroline Leavitt, which I like to refer to as Lying Barbie. No offense, Barbie. I know you're thinner. This is all a plan. It's in the Heritage Foundation playbook. And all you clowns and Meal Team Sixers who were freaking out when Democrats were taking away free speech when Biden was in have since remained silent when all of this was coming to pass. And now, as Mr. Trump and his Attorney General Pam Bondi are trying to criminalize free speech and peaceful protests, naming non-existent groups as terrorists, you continue to sit in your basement loading ammo for the next insurrection. And me and my fellow sane Americans who are witnessing this are sick with Trump derangement syndrome? Give us a break. You guys must have skipped out on the connected dots kindergarten section because you were too busy pulling little Jimmy's pants down in the boys' bathroom and stepping on his prescription glasses. And that's unfortunate because connecting the dots is important right now, more than ever. And don't let Sean Hannity do your dot connecting. He doesn't have a college degree. He's your best source of hating America, for sure. But he's not the best source for news. Look, I'm not telling you have to all turn in your monster trucks and snow globes. I'm just saying, if you really consider yourself a patriot, and I know you do because I can see those flags on the side of your F-150s, then get a fucking library card. They're free. Trump hasn't sold your libraries to Elon Musk and David Ellison just yet. Open your mind. Have a Budweiser with a snowflake. They won't try and hump you, I promise. And then start getting active for team democracy, MAGA. Maybe demand Trump hire a real prosecutor instead of a real estate lawyer when he wastes all of our time and taxpayer dollars trying to frivolously prosecute former head of the FBI, James Comey, who is a fucking Republican. Hey, and while you're doing a mea culpa, look it up. Maybe tell your friend Jim Jordan that when he's done protecting pedophiles at Ohio State, he could demand an open court hearing for special counsel prosecutor Jack Smith, so we can see the evidence he collected on Trump before Bondi and her friends came in power and shut it all down. Why behind closed doors, Jim? What are you hiding? Here's some advice, MAGA. Less bullying on pages like mine and more reading. Buy one less packet of cigarettes a day and instead get a fucking newspaper subscription. One outside your MAGA comfort zone. I'd tell you the New York Times. You tell me the old gray lady can't be trusted. Here's a way to know which news organizations can be trusted. Ones which don't lose lawsuits. And I dare say, ones whose companies don't force them to settle winnable lawsuits to keep the administration happy. ABC and CBS comes to mind. As a reminder, your favorite channel, Fox News, settled a lawsuit over election lying for $780 million, so they wouldn't be forced into court to lose more. I'd say consider that. Just consider it between purchasing Melania's cryptocurrency and Trump's gold telephones. Don't be sad, I heard they're on their way. Anyway, consider all that when you tell me who to trust. And call the New York Times and subscribe, for Christ's sake. And begin the process of helping us heal back our country. And take it back. And most of all, take a look in the fucking mirror to see who is afflicted with TDS. It ain't us, homies. If you comment back, bring the facts. I will block you faster than you can say Melania is a dual citizen who lied on her naturalization papers. A couple other quick things before we close. I would just love... Oh, there's George. He feels the end is near. I would love to comment on everything you guys are interested in hearing about. I'm going to stick to stuff I think I know, you know? So I do know a lot of stuff about how the media operates and how that works. I know a lot about war because I covered it for 30 years. I know a lot about defense policy, and I've been to dozens and dozens of countries, so I know what it's like living all around the world and being in places where Americans have never visited. So I'm happy to talk about those things too. But I'm going to stick to what I think I know the best. And if I don't address something you're interested in, I'm sorry about that. I try to, at least at this point, with, some of my videos have 600,000 views on them. So I can't respond to everyone, but I try to at least look and read and be aware. It takes several hours a day. I'm not getting paid anything for this. Honestly, trust me. Right now, I haven't even figured out how to try to monetize this. It's not that important yet for me. I'm still spending a lot of hours every day, but I have a 10 cabin campsite up here that we're, trying to operate. So, I've got limited amount of time, but I think it's important. Just like Clooney was saying, he's not so much scared about, what's happening to the film business. He's really worried about, democracy is going to die because journalists aren't being allowed to independently report, and then I guess Barry Weiss came back and said, well, I'm happy to have you in the broadcast center and teach you a little bit about journalism. Barry, his dad was a journalist. He grew up around it. He knows more about journalism than you do. A 1-hour special on, Charlie Kirk's wife doesn't make you a broadcast journalist. Go across the street to 60 Minutes and talk to those guys. They'll teach you a little bit about it, I promise. Fake it for a couple years. So anyways, thanks everybody for listening, and I'll be back with a couple more stories in the next couple days. I appreciate if you'd like, follow, and share. Sharing is great, helps spread the word of what we're doing. And comments are great. I read as many as I possibly can. I'd say 90% of them, at least at this point. So take care. Hope you guys are having a happy new year. Bye-bye.